What's up, everybody? It's November 13th, 2024. I'm Greg from the CE team, Community Engagement, and you're chilling with SacVibes, the local government podcast where we educate, engage, and empower constituents from the city of Sacramento.
And I'm your co-host, Lynette Hall. Hey, everybody.
I'm also your other co-host, Ari Green. I'm on the CE team.
And we have a special guest today. You want to introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah, I am the third co-host today. I think Marco Gonzalez, City Manager's Office of Innovation and Economic Development. I'm a Senior Development Project Manager over the Railyards, River District, areas all over town. So
Nice.
Thanks for having me on today.
Thank you.
Glad you're here. We'll talk to you a little bit later as I do some council recaps because Greg likes to ask me hard questions. So I wanted to make sure you were here to answer those hard questions.
Well, you tried to get someone else. They weren't available, so it's like, okay, let's get Marco, I guess.
When all else fails,
That's
Marco.
right.
Call Marco.
That's right.
So what else are we talking about today?
Well, first, I think we have to acknowledge elections.
Oh, yes. We had an election. How y'all doing? How y'all?
We
Are
had
y'all?
You hear that loud
Big
sigh.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm feeling. Every day, emotions go from one way to another. So I just don't know.
Right. What
You know,
about y'all?
it's almost like a category of like you did your part, you voted, and then the rest is out of your control, and you could just try to impact what you can impact and just see how the rest unfolds.
So it sounds like raising a teenager.
There
Right.
you go.
Right.
And I know that's a
Plant the
privilege.
seeds.
That's a privileged position to be in because, you know, every administration is going to impact people differently, but you can only control what you can control.
That's right.
And some folks didn't vote.
A
Now, a
lot
lot
of
of
folks
people
didn't
didn't.
vote.
A lot of
Shame.
people didn't vote.
Shame.
And,
Then you can't complain if you didn't
Right.
vote. No, I'm kidding.
no,
No,
that's
don't
true.
complain anyway.
That's
That's
true.
right.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
How about you, Ari? How you feeling?
I'm just here existing.
She's here so she doesn't get fined.
Yeah. It's like, who's fining you? Gee.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I think we kind of know the winner of the national election, but we had local elections here in the city of Sacramento, and the jury is still out. We don't know what's going on yet in the mayoral race, and so if it's any indication of how the primaries were, it took like 3 weeks for us to know who was kind of the front runner. So more to come.
Yeah. Right now, at 52%, Kevin McCarty has a slight lead over Flo John Kofer at 47%. But that's only with 2/3 of the vote counted. I think there's like a third left as
So-
of yesterday night, right?
So
Yeah,
the
they-
county's site, they said they're at 55% in counting.
55%?
For the county. So they
Okay.
still have a lot
Wow.
of ballots to count still.
I think there's 174,000
Yeah.
votes that still need to be counted, and from the last count, they only did about 90,000. So I'm thinking it'll take probably 2 more
Weeks.
refreshes before
Right.
we kind of know what's going on.
This
So
is as close as can be. Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
it's definitely
So-
going to be close. I don't think it'll be a landslide on either way.
For those of you listening on Spotify, we will share the map in the link below. We're looking at the map courtesy of the Sac County Elections Office. You can go to that website. That link will also be in the description, so you can see and follow races that you're interested in.
Absolutely.
But yeah, let's go to you, Lynette, for a council recap. We had council last night. A lot of
Yeah,
exciting
so
stuff.
council was super exciting. We had actually 2 council meetings. There was a 2:00 council session and a 5:00. The 2:00 session on the agenda was supposed to be heard was the SCORE initiative, which is the Sacramento Centered on Racial Equity initiative, which is really centered around advancing racial equity in city decisions. So that looks like policy decisions, budgets, RFPs, our contracting processes. Some of the key deliverables with that resolution would create a racial assessment tool. And some of the key components of that resolution is really centered around truth-telling, trust building, and creating a real work plan for moving racial equity forward. Also on the agenda for the 2:00 was the Reparations initiative, which originally started out as a mayoral initiative. And the Racial Equity Committee back in October wanted to move it from just a mayoral initiative to the full city council. They have worked diligently with community members, the Racial Equity Network and Alliance members, to create a resolution around reparations. And just to be clear, it was not the intent, or it's not the intent, that the city of Sacramento would be writing checks to all African American residents. That is something, does it need to happen? Absolutely, but that needs to happen on the federal level. And so, but there are things that the city can do within their scope around employment practices, contracting practices, housing programs, and things of that nature. And so that was actually pulled off of the agenda by Councilmember Mai Vang for several reasons. One, it was on the agenda for a 2 p.m. session, and she didn't feel like it was appropriate for something so important to be at 2 o'clock when community members couldn't participate. It's something that has been led by community in partnership with the city, and so it was important for her that it should be heard at a 5 p.m., which would allow more people to be involved. Some of the other things that she notated was that the resolution that was on the agenda was not the resolution that was agreed upon from the Racial Equity Committee. There were key things that were taken out, some around creating an annual assessment report from the city's Diversity and Equity Department. There were some things around ensuring an equity lens on city contracts, city awarded contracts. And so there were some key things that had changed from the document that she saw. And the mayor kind of seconded that. And he kind of talked about how the process is that when things are heard on a standing committee like the Racial Equity Committee or Law and Ledge, it is the council's belief that it should be brought forward as that committee saw it and approved it. However, he also explained that it is also in the authority of the city manager and city manager's office to make recommendations for changes, but that the council should see both. And so because of that, it was pulled, and it will be heard December 3rd at 5 p.m. So that was some of the things. And then you'll hear a little bit later, but we had our City Management Academy graduation, and I'll let Ari talk about that. Matter of fact, Ari, talk a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about like the super, super exciting stuff that happened.
Awesome. So for the listeners out there, each year the City of Sacramento hosts a City Management Academy, which is designed to teach residents or small business owners or just people who recently moved to Sacramento how the city functions. It lasts 10 weeks, and last night we celebrated the completion of a 30-person cohort. And we acknowledged their completion at council last night. They were able to take a picture with the mayor and the council members as well as the city manager. And hopefully they will be inspired to continue to pour into the city as well as engage their communities more.
And what's so cool about the academy is a number of sitting council members also participated in City Management Academy years ago. And so the City Management Academy is definitely a city program that builds leaders. Yeah. We see them, whether they're our chamber presidents, neighborhood association leaders, we really see the impact that folks have participating in that program. But then at council at the 5 p.m., we finally, after years and years and years of waiting, they approved the Sac Republic is building a stadium in the Railyards. Absolutely. And so, Marco, I know you worked really, really hard on this, and it was really tight-lipped. You couldn't talk about it for a long time. So can you talk a little bit about what's coming? Is it just the stadium? What's going on?
What a great introduction, by the way. I just want to say, Ari, congratulations on the City Management Academy. And to those who graduated, I used to run the Planning Academy for planning, obviously. And I just realized how much work that is, right? So, folks that want to be involved in that are just incredible to dedicate your evenings to learn more about the process. Government's not always pretty, but yeah, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's team effort.
There we go. So I want to say the same thing, though, about the stadium, right? So you're spot on there that it is a stadium and then additional pieces. So I think Greg's going to share a map of what we're talking about here. But yeah, it was a lot of work. This is, let's take a step back. In 2019, the city approved a term sheet for an MLS stadium. Glorious day, right? Like everyone was so excited.
Wait, what's a term sheet? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So a term sheet is an agreement between multiple parties. So the MLS term sheet was between the city and Sac Republic at the time, and then a new investor group led by Ron Burkle. Now, the pandemic hit, the funding... Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm very expressive with my hands. The funding dried up. So then, the investor group backed out, and the stadium project kind of went away for a long time. So the city has always been hunting for another lead investor. And so this project's a little different because it's not MLS. It is a USL project, right? So USL being the Sac Republic's league that they play in currently. Mm-hmm. But, it's in some ways more exciting because we're getting the stadium, which is 12,000 people. We're also getting an entertainment venue in the paint shop. And I think that the paint shop is in the historic Central Shops. Yes. So you see right here in the middle. So if you wouldn't mind let's go to this slide here.
Which one? 4?
Oh, shoot, you're already there. Okay, keep going. Keep going right here, number 11.
All right.
So the historic Central Shops, I think that's really going to be, such an important, unique piece of Sacramento, right? So it's got this history to it that you just can't find anywhere else. Now, the buildings are super expensive to renovate, right? So it's taken a lot of time and effort and thought in terms of how our private partners can rehabilitate these buildings. So those two projects, and then also the city is purchasing 2 parcels to support Sac Valley Station. Mm-hmm. So if you go to slide number 9 here, let me start with SVS. So we've got an amazing Sac Valley Station.
Okay, we don't want to throw a pie in his face. Okay.
Right, I did say that first, but then I switched over to SVS.
That's the existing train station.
This is the dope part about this plan, right?
Oh, that's crazy.
So the plan is to keep the existing historic station, but then also to build out all this other cool stuff. So housing, office, retail, a lot of additional bus services, train services. Mm-hmm. This is envisioned to be the home of high-speed rail as well if we ever get there. And
it's going to be here?
It's going to be here.
Sac Valley Station?
At Sac Valley Station. So a lot of people don't realize this, but Sac Valley Station and the Railyards are connected. So we've got, as part of the funding package prior to this, in terms of grants that have been received, we got funding to open up the tunnel from Sac Valley Station to the Railyards. So we're talking about, reconnecting our downtown, revitalizing these historic assets that we have, live entertainment, right? So in the paint shop, at the stadium. Sorry, I'm still doing it with my hands here, but yeah. So many exciting aspects. A really cool part about this as well is Sac Republic is partnering with the Wilton Rancheria. So Wilton Rancheria tribe are actually now the lead investors in the Sac Republic, and so they're coming in with.
Can we give a shout out for that? Like the fact that we are on their land and we give recognition every council meeting that we are on their land. Mm-hmm. Now they are building on the land that was originally taken from them. That's huge. Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Really well said, right? So it's really important to have them at the table, and also in terms of the resources that they're bringing as well, right? So they've got this deep connection to the site, as well as resources to build a stadium. So it's a really exciting time. It's going to be a lot of work moving forward, but with these 3 components that we talked about, it's going to spur so much more development. So I think housing is the thing we're most focused on. Obviously jobs that are going to be created from these projects, but we've got to get housing affordable, market rate for people to live in the downtown in the central city. And then that'll bring way more opportunities as well. So I think, I think it's a really fair deal for the city. Our investment is mostly through the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District, or EIFD. And so that really captures growth in the future property taxes. So it's really capturing value that wouldn't be there if it wasn't for these projects, right? So as they're standing right now as dirt, you're really not getting that value. But as these projects are built out, you're capturing that value, and then you reimburse the developers for infrastructure mostly. So it's a good tool.
Getting those ugly but necessary things, infrastructure-wise.
Oh, I know infrastructure is so much of my job, right? And it just really lays that groundwork. So infrastructure.
Tell me about the venue. You mentioned it briefly.
Yeah. So let's see. If you go to slide number 5 here, we've got a picture here. So the entertainment venue will be there on the right. It's called the Paint Shop Building because they used to actually paint trains in here. Yeah. So like an amazing building. A lot of money, like I said, to bring it up to the standards to host an entertainment venue. But
is that bigger than what we have currently in Sacramento?
Yeah, it's 3,600 people. So we really don't have that size of venue. I think we've had a few more added that are in that range, but this is kind of like in between Golden One Center and Ace of Spades, right? So you're getting those acts that go, to other places. They don't stop in Sacramento necessarily
because they can't sell out Golden One, but they've outgrown Ace of Spades.
So we're missing that range. So this is going to be a really important piece. But you see the train running down below. It's like you could go to Sac Valley Station. You could take light rail, Amtrak, the bus. You can drive there. You can ride your bike. You could walk there. So there's just so many options to get people to the site. Yeah. It's going to be incredible.
Oh, my goodness. So you can go to a game, then go to a concert, go home because you might live there.
That's right.
And then Kaiser. Then you can go to the hospital if you have too much fun.
Hopefully only planned visits to Kaiser, but if you need to, there you go.
They're there.
And so there's also plans to build, this isn't part of the deal, but there's plans to build a new I Street bridge that would connect over to West Sac, right? So you're talking about additional connections to West Sac, to the River District.
I have to update my tattoo.
What does your tattoo say?
I have the skyline right here.
Oh, yeah. Just a little amendment. That's all right. That'll be fine.
You're going to put a little soccer ball on
there you go.
Oh, you're talking about the bridge.
I mean, this is exciting. And what I really love is the timing. This is our mayor. I think he has less than a month left on the job. He's been in public service forever. And so this is just perfect, a nice going away present for him. So shout out to Mayor Steinberg for all of the hard work. He's been working really hard on this.
And this project doesn't happen without him, right? So him and then, Scott White and his office have been just instrumental in bringing this deal together. I know that they've been working so hard to try to bring an investor in, right? So Senator Ashby as well has been a huge part of this. But it's like turning over every stone to find someone with the resources to build a stadium, and then finally, we're there. So it's an exciting time.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So since part of the project majority of the project is in the Railyards, and you guys are using the paint shop, did you guys have to I don't know if negotiate that's a strong word, but bring in the California Railroad Museum as part of that?
Yeah, so actually the state has plans to build an rail tech museum in one of the historic buildings. Okay. So they actually own a few of the buildings. Yeah. They operate right now, right? So they do actually work on trains. Yeah. They store trains in these buildings. Yeah, to this day. But they're going to. The plan is for them to build out this rail tech museum that would be a complement to the existing museum that's in Old Sacramento.
Okay. So I had asked that because I got a tour from Ty Smith of the active updating of the trains or working on the trains.
Awesome.
And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was there, but it is a good portion of the Railyards there.
One of the first times, I think first days of work, there was a tour of the Railyards. I got to go. And seeing all these buildings, wow, I've always driven by here. I never knew what was happening. And then the fact that the trains were still being used, some of the buildings were still being used.
It's wild,
paint
right?
The trains, oh, wow.
It's actually the Railyards is what got me into urban planning when I was a kid. Like you drive on I-5, like why doesn't someone just build something over there?
Yeah.
Right? It's as simple as
It's
that.
like your life dream.
Yeah, I was like, look at all this dirt. Just go build something.
Oh,
Obviously.
Full
cool
circle
moment.
Yeah, no.
And you got
It
to
was
work
surreal.
on it.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal, honestly.
That's for your childhood.
That's right. So the answer to why doesn't someone just build something on there? It was an active rail site, tons of contamination. There's been so many years of just remediation to lay the groundwork for where we're at currently. So, yeah, it was a big moment yesterday to be in front of the council, to be presenting this project that I've worked very hard on. A lot of people in the city and our external partners have worked very hard on. So, it was a very nice day for Sacramento.
The paint, is that the building that former Mayor Kevin Johnson had his birthday party?
I wasn't invited to that one,
Oh.
but
I'm sorry, I was.
Perhaps it was, yeah.
But
Wait,
it was
does it
like
get
the
one of these?
windows looked like some of them were
yeah.
broken out. It was like
That's the paint
super,
shop for sure.
Okay, it was
Yeah.
super rustic, but
It's in
it was freaking
it's in a
amazing,
rough
the party,
it's in
though.
rough shape, right? And so this is the beauty of adaptive reuse, which is expensive, as I mentioned, but it's like you can acknowledge what's come before and
Yeah.
then bring in something new. And I think that's like the best of all worlds.
oh
so
my
Yeah, for
goodness,
sure.
I'm so excited. The Sac Republic has been a great partner with community engagement. Each week, they give us tickets to give out to community members, particularly to folks that typically have never gone to a game or can't afford to go to a game. And I had the pleasure of going to a couple of games. And even though, I'm not a soccer fan, I'm a fan of the fans.
it's just fun to
And
be
the
there.
fans are they are wild.
They're
And they
wild.
encourage you to be wild. I love it. I loved it's so loud and the energy. It's I'm super excited for what's coming to Sacramento with the new stadium.
Yeah, and soccer is just really an international sport, right? And they talk about it being a growth sport. It's obviously very popular here in Sacramento and lots of other places around the United States and, of course, around the world. So I think, this is just a really great step to have more opportunities for our community to interact with this sport. And, I think one of the council members, I think it was Councilmember Tao, that mentioned that their nephew was part of the Farm League, now plays for the San Jose Earthquakes. So it's just a great, community benefit, brings everyone together. It's just going to be such a cool project.
So
Awesome.
cool. I can't wait.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
How do you feel? Is a weight's been lifted, or is there a lot of
No.
work to be done still?
So much work to be done, right? So all right, so we're talking
I don't
about
know. That's why I'm asking.
No, it's a good question. So we're talking about a stadium that they want to open in 2027.
Okay.
That's a
And we're-
good question because I wanted to ask, okay, when will we see things?
Yeah, so stadium in 27, the paint shop coming online in 2026. That one's got a
okay.
bit of a head start because they've already got their planning approvals. But, with the stadium, this is a bit different than the MLS project that we mentioned, right? So we've got to review which of those approvals can be used, what stuff needs to be redone. There's just a lot of work that needs to occur to make it to 27. So it'll be an exciting process, but
And
yeah,
we're
gonna.
already in 25.
Very soon. So
So
it'll be
25
here.
is done. Yeah,
It'll be here as soon as we know it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I can't wait. Especially for the concerts and just the proximity to the river. And I know in the next couple of weeks we'll be hearing about some potential things happening around the waterfront. So stay tuned to hear what's happening in Old Sacramento. It's just some really cool stuff happening.
have y'all gone out to a concert in the Railyards? I have yet to do it, but I hear
No.
really good things. So
No.
yeah, so I think it's like a destination. I think Anderson Paak, is that how you say?
Oh,
Is performing this weekend.
Oh.
Tomorrow, I think.
Oh, he's gonna DJ. I
He's
saw
gonna
that.
DJ over there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And in the rail yard, the paint. House,
So this is separate from the paint shop project, right? This was why I bring up, I think the Railyards is a really viable area for entertainment because I think they just do it in the street. Like it's just literally one of the roadways that they shut down
Oh wow.
and then put up a stage. So,
Oh okay.
as unstructured as that is, people still show up. So to have a venue that's going to be state of the art is going to be next level.
So this is kind of like a block party to kind of get people thinking about this area.
Yeah,
It's not just an empty pit anymore.
exactly. So
that's still cool though, and unstructured. You can be free from form. I think that's pretty
Like
cool.
a
Yeah.
block party.
yeah, why not both, right? Like I think we could have it all. Honestly, we could have that going on. You can go to an A's game, go to a Kings game.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the A's too.
We're going to have a lot of opportunities. So start saving up now.
Okay, you heard that? Save up your money.
I was talking to you, Greg.
Oh, me.
So Greg's got to start saving.
I gotta start saving. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Marco.
I could go on
So
for another
now-
30 minutes if we want to.
You're welcome to hang out with us.
All
We're
right,
still
all right.
chilling here. I don't know about
I'm
you.
gonna have to look at your slides.
Yeah, we will
Yeah,
definitely
interesting.
share the slides with everybody that's watching and listening. Really great pictures. Did you draw these? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, rendered all these myself. But we can also put a link maybe to the council
Oh, yeah.
yesterday.
Ah,
So this
yes.
presentation will be included. And yeah,
Okay.
I think we got a lot of positive feedback from the community and from the electeds as well.
Well,
Great.
once again, congratulations.
Thank
Hard
you.
work. And now on to our tip of the month.
Hey y'all, guess what? It's time for tip of the month. Hey y'all, it's me again, Melissa, here with another tip of the month. And this month's tip of the month is 311. And that 3-digit number is the number you call when something like a traffic light is out, maybe a tree fell down, or maybe there's a flood going on somewhere that we need to know about quickly. So do yourself a favor and utilize 311. Again, that's 311. 3 easy digits to let the city of Sacramento know that our transportation pathways are impacted and it needs to be fixed. I hope you all are subscribing to our newsletter, and I'll be here at the same time, same place. See you soon. Peace.
And that was your tip of the month for November. I also wanted to talk about City Manager Academy, so let's get back to that. We had a graduation.
So I wanted to add, so there's one participant, hopefully she listens, but her name is Stephanie. So after the presentation from the fire department, she started going to her local fire station, and each week she drops them off baked goods. And she learned that through Kim, I might say her last name wrong. Is it Ianucci? Ianucci? Chief Costamonga's second in command?
Oh, I am not going to pronounce that.
Guess a few more times. Guess
I
a
am
few
not
more
gonna
times, and then
try.
Greg will edit in the correct one.
Yeah.
Right, we're just-
In my voice.
That's right.
Right. Yeah.
Totally seamless.
So I think that's like an added benefit of the City Management Academy is connecting constituents and residents to their local areas.
I thought you were going to say free treats.
Oh, not for us, at least for that fire station, yeah.
Oh.
Apparently this week they're getting cheesecake. What is the flavor? Some fancy cheesecake that she was going to bake and deliver. It's great.
So you talked a little bit about City Management Academy. What are your takeaways from this is your first time coordinating it? What did you like about it?
I know it's a program for participants and residents and small business owners or new residents to Sacramento to learn, but I think it's also a learning curve for me as well. Learning how certain departments function, how they operate. I think one of my standout participations or presentations that I liked was IT, learning all the things that they do.
Information technology, for those that don't know what IT is.
Where's the pie?
But it's not just information
Where's the
technology.
pie?
It's they build the software and the hardware for our police cars and the fire trucks. They do GIS. They do
Yeah.
cybersecurity. They do redistricting.
And they showed a bunch of graphs and like the networks that they have.
Exactly.
It was crazy to see, especially with like the police, just all the technology that they have in the cars that are accessible.
I also appreciated all staff departments' participation. I know, I call this group spicy. They didn't shy away from the hard questions for the staff, but the staff didn't shy away from answering also. And I think that kind of relationship building is two-way street. It can't be just residents.
Right.
And so I think participants are now more aware that running a city or making a city operate at its full capacity is not just you should do this. We all have opinions on how a city should be ran or what staff should be doing, but until you learn what staff actually does, you don't know what it takes.
Right.
And I think it changed a lot of perspectives of the participants as well.
Do you guys do like an eval to check to see people's
Like comments?
shifts and understanding and and
I don't
behavior
know if
about.
it would capture the shifts, but we do have a Microsoft form of feedback, as well as just emails if they didn't choose to do the form
Right.
about, oh, I think this should be this, or maybe for next year you could update this, and you could add this as a part of the program. Yeah. I think one of the major feedbacks that I received was participants wanted more time to interact with each other,
Yes.
to get to know more about each other and connect and learn their professional backgrounds.
I heard somebody talking about that last night at the graduation. So
Yeah.
we had a graduation at the law office of George Jones, which is 1 block away from City Hall, and was it like 30 plus people
Yeah.
packed into his office in a little patio, and had some food from Saigon Alley.
That's correct.
Listened to some music, and I heard a lot of people, just appreciating each other, and they stuck around for a long time.
They did.
Right? And you can tell that that's like more transformational, I think, when people like stay after the actual agenda and then to chill and hang out. So
And conversate.
yeah, good job with that.
Thank you.
You get your Wednesday nights back now.
I do get my Wednesday nights back. I want to also, the CE team, they'll listen to, hopefully they watch our interviews on here or listen to our podcast, but whole shout out to the CE team. This is a collaborative effort, so I appreciate you guys sticking it out with me the past 10 weeks. Whether it was Greg recording our videos, Randy and Danielle staying and helping facilitate, and then Jessica also kind of giving us the framework and the skeleton
Yeah,
to do
she
the
did
program.
it last year. Jessica did it last year, and I helped her. We recorded all the sessions too,
Yeah,
so only had to do a few this time around.
that's right too.
She also picked food up for you on a few occasions, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
yes.
important. And foods comes from local businesses. I was trying to support local small businesses. So, well, that's great. For those of you notice that are watching, you see Lynette's cube is empty here. She had to go to another meeting, so that's why she's not here in this space. That's my hand right there. But yeah, I think this is all the time we have for today. Thank you for vibing with us today. Don't forget to follow us on social media. Instagram and Facebook. Our handle is @CETeamSac. You can also catch us on YouTube and Spotify. Check us out there. We will have the attachments that Marco shared with us, the maps, the Railyards project, and other information. So see you on 2 weeks. Peace.